rosters here. Ali said it perfectly. This Gorillas mate team, it did feel like they kind of got away with one under the rug here. 3 world champions, and you put Lins in the mix, and yeah, there were moments last year where you could really see what his ceiling might be. But the fact of the matter is, here's the real simple story. Lins, he has not just been great, he has been everywhere and been great. He finished over so far through this weekend, second in hardpoint engagements per 10 minutes at 54.5. The person above him, the only person above him, is Hydra. So the French are taking over, and for LAG, that means great news, although obviously the start of this lobby seems to be a bit of a bounce back restart for us.
Yeah, that's some good company to be in, though. If you're up there with Hydra, you know how much pace he sets with that SMG. You saw how LAT looked yesterday in that series versus Cloud9, especially in the hard points, but if he's going to continue to play like that, that's why I think when you said it perfectly, like this roster is going to be like one of those rosters you expect to do well, because you said it, 3 world champions. You add a player like Lins, who's basically a mirror effect of what Hydra's able to bring. So you got the same coaching staff of when they won a world championship. This is basically the same exact system they had 2 years ago in Hydra. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just try to fit Lins in. This time, Kismet, he needs to step up a little bit more in that slaying department, but these guys know what it takes to win. They just have to, they shook off that loss in that map, I mean, that first series. They did bounce back here.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it, you know, Kismet, I think after last year, we had kind of this meme of, was it going to be 99 Kiz or 0.99 Kiz? And I think so far what we've seen is that this dynamic between him and Lins really does feel very familiar to what we had seen with him and Hydra in moments when they were brilliant in years past. The other side of this story, though, is I think just the simple idea that Priesta and Skies together have been really good at locking down lanes and allowing the opportunity for these SMGs to essentially do what they want, where Lins can essentially be allergic to the hard point, where Kismet is the one entering once he gets good information. So it did feel like this team had a really solid start to their opener.
Oh yeah, especially with Skies, dropping like a 1.4 with that lead AR role. He's going to need to be that guy now, where he's putting up those massive numbers in the slam, because if you think about the kind of player that Priest is, he's a guy that can do it all. Kismet's thinking about the objective, and then with Lins, he's just the raw SMG talented slayer that you're always going to try to get. But with you losing players like Hydra on your lineup, but you losing players like Sliver on your lineup, someone has to make up in that slaying department, and Skies showed that he can do it, at least in that first series.
Let's take some time and speak to the other side here in the Carolina Royal Ravens. Obviously, you've got the idea of TJ and Gwyn are back together again for another year. And those two, I think in particular, had showed us that, yes, we're getting the same consistency that we kind of came to know in certain regards from last year. Gwyn in particular, I think, of course, being one of the top overall rookies that we've had in recent memory, he popped off against Vegas. The story, I think, here, though, is not necessarily what are we going to get from Gwyn and TJ, but like you kind of briefly touched on, Slasher had a great re-debut, and that's exactly what you want to quell some of the possible lingering doubts that this roster had on paper. But the wild card here is, what are we going to get from a Vivid player who, let's be honest, has not locked down as a secondary AR a lot lately? I mean, it's going to be a sort of new role for him, and it did look like there was a couple of unfamiliarities for Carolina, especially in the respawns for Vivid.
Yeah, but for a player of his caliber and the brain that he has, I don't expect him to not really put up big performances with this AR. It's a new role, like you said, that he has to learn, but it's for the betterment of the team. Even with him not putting up the best numbers, that's where you get slayers like Gwyn and phenomenal performances out of Slasher, the veteran presence, who you said makes his return back to COD this season. Sometimes all you need is a little break, a little step, a little time away, get your mind right, go to the gym a little bit, eat some good food, and then you come back ready to rock and roll. And this is a guy who's been playing COD ever since I was in the league way back when, and he's still putting on a show. So Slasher, you continue to lead these young men the way that you are. You're going to have a great season.
Now, I want to kind of dig a little bit deeper into both of these two squads, because, you know, the storyline so far for this LAG team is the fact that they have seen both of their search and destroys played. They lost the round 11 on Rewind, but Carolina on the other front did not look particularly great in the search and destroy on Skyline when they played up against Vegas. Now, we talked a little bit about this kind of before we went live, and I think it holds true. I think if you're someone who has watched the Call of Duty League before, this is not news to you. But search and destroy is often where we see the biggest skill gap early in a particular title. And we're seeing, I think that's going to be a major difference maker, not just on these opening 2 weekends, but it often paints itself as the difference maker for the entirety of the first, maybe even half of the year. So for teams like Carolina and LAG, I think a lot of the focus has to be about what you can do in the search, but we'll save that conversation until we get to map number 2, because we're in for real this time. Carolina taking on LAG. Let's get it on.
Into the mix fest of the P1, 2 for 2 on the trade battle. You have Vivid, who's trying to control his way over towards top cap, but he realized that his teammates have control of the middle map. Let's just drop down and start soaking up some time.
Looking good for it so far. Takes some cover. TJ trying to zone out the reinforcements, but shut down immediately by Linden. There's that SMG duo. Kismet, Lynn's gonna find a 4 for 2 exchange. Gwyn puts a little bit of punish up, plus also pulls a 50-50 spawn for Carolina, which Vivid is able to at least get some reward on as the rebreak is on the way.
Yeah, it's good plays from Vivid to come off spawn, realizing that he is gonna get that parallel side. He gets one and allows his teammates to not have that much pressure still around that P1 area. And now his teammates are going to win the rotation over towards Noob. You can already see Vivid trying to create layers to the front side of this P2 hard point. He's going to be holding down the top of this catwalk area and all of the gorillas surrounding him.
Yeah, Skies, I thought maybe just got an eye on him, and it looks like that was indeed the case. And now Slasher trying to also zone forward, needs to quickly track back over towards the hard point as LAG have found entry from the front. Down in the corner, just down to Kismet, laying prone, just doing his little flipper in the pool, able to at least take down one, but the quick respawn from Carolina allows them to get back in for more time.
Yeah, that's massive plays right there from TJ from the backside of that HP. He's able to find 3 in the feed. Now soaking up the hill time, but already in your face is going to be the Gorillas. Lins finds himself on a double, trying to make it a triple onto Vivid, but already job well done. 20 seconds still to fight for. If you are the Ravens, we got to try to flip this map on its head. You do not want these spawns for B3.
And I think the thing about it, again, looking at the sample size of 1 when LAG had played Minnesota, we were really impressed with the speed and the tempo of which they played the macro level of Call of Duty. Good rotations, good quick breaks. The question is going to be, as we get from 3 to 4, have they learned and improved? Because Minnesota found some really easy breaks going to P4. TJ's working on the backside, opens up with 1, but there should be a trade for Lynn. Or will TJ able to help out for 3, and that's going to lead to Carolina time on the hard point.
That's big time players making big time plays. TJ Halley, the sole man rotating by himself over towards Zara, is able to find a 3-piece to secure the spawns for his team. We talked about how the Gorillas needed to improve on their setup from P3 to P4, and they already showed that they have not fixed it yet.
And it's all ARs right now for Carolina. All 4 players opting for the long-range weapons over the top of what is often one of the mixiest hard points on the map, if not in the game. But TJ carrying a 4 spree now moves forward with help from above. TJ shut down just by Skies, but still, the time for Carolina is incredible. And with 10 seconds left, keep your eye on the minimap. Baguar, the big money hill control.
Yeah, this is where the game could potentially get out of hand if you are the Gorilla mates, because now you need to find a break on a very difficult hill to do so, but already showing a lot of presence over towards street area. Just can you find an opening kill? TJ and Vivid combine for 2. Vivid finds 3. The last player alive over toward the street. The slide, Omni movement, too good from Vivid. Make it 4 in a row. Carolina flawless on their first hole.
And this is something that I know we kind of had these moments of question marks. What was Vivid going to be able to provide? But when he's in his flow state, he's always been one of the more aggressive flex players in his time in the CDL. And if he finds rhythm like that, he can be hard to deal with. An opportunity here, though. 24 seconds still remaining for LAG to flood on the bottom side of the minimap. But again, it's Slasher, it's TJ. They find 3. Last one to grab is Kismet, and he's going to be traded out quickly as Carolina will get the scrap time.
Yeah, they're going to find themselves up now by 60 points going into the second half of this game. Gorillas need to make up for it. They need to make sure that they're maintaining these spawns for that P2 side. So far, everyone in control. You do have 1 player in Skies who is going to spawn out, and I don't think that Carolina has gotten a read on it, but the player coming off hold, Slasher takes care of him. It's already 2 dead. Now you pounce on the hill.
It's just down to Kismet. Just trying to survive as long as humanly possible. Can only take 1 with him. So 3 members for the Royal Ravens still existing. Sky's trying to work on rotation over towards New. In his way is Vivid, playing on the shallow side of the pool, but shut down immediately. Now here we go. LAG start to find themselves favorably in the kill feed. With the clearance at the hard point itself, they will jump back in and start to dig into this deficit.
Now look at the spawns coming in all around that mini-map for Carolina. You're going to have Gwyn coming freely on this pin spawn, but a perfect positioning out of Sky is able to take care of him. Still 20 seconds to fight for here, and if you are the Gorillas, you need this time. But it's not going to be easy because all the trades are abound, and you have a slasher able to find a double for the potential final 15. You need to maintain these spawns, though, or the game is going to be over.
Looking solid for right now as Carolina try to make their play through the catwalk. Kismet shuts down one. That will stall out this rotation, leaving just Slasher to take the route man route all the way around the back. Stuns landing, backside patio. Brisa, knowing he's in trouble, cannot challenge this angle, so LAG will have to bunker up inside the hill. Trophy system keeping them safe for now, and with that little bit of support, it's enough for a couple of kills to come through, and that will stop Carolina in their tracks.
That's beautifully played right there from the Gorillas to play a really tight setup, not let anyone slip on by, but it turns into a 2-on-4, and Slasher somehow, some way is able to maneuver his way from the back of that hard point, come through the front side of the truck and find a double to now open up a break for Carolina. Still a lot of time to fight for. The spawns are a little bit sticky. Only one player left from the back four Gorillas in Carolina. They needed to break it. Now they're really starting to pull away with this game.
This has been absolutely dominant from this AR line of Carolina. And as they're looking to finish up the scrap time and rotate to new, they're still finding kills. Let's take a time out and listen to the Royal Ravens comms.
I'm close.
Okay, my spawn, hold on.
Vault.
Maybe.
I'm sitting mid, dude. Vault weak is. I'm playing closed.
Let's play top part. I'm gonna play vault later.
Yo, midline, barely.
On their side pillar,
What's midline? Let's play top part of me too.
I went mid, I'm going on mid.
One, two, top part. He's mid statue.
Statue Lindsay twice.
I'm in vault.
Top part, Caesar's.
One more trophy.
One did. Lindsay's still back trophy. Mid kiss. I'm just dropping out some time. Wait, in the vault look like, are you? Can't tell. I'm gonna try to get some of this time.
You didn't put me vault. Vault on me. That one shot is.
I sure tried to help. Big control lens.
Vault dead.
Big control lens really weak. Two. Weak. There's no one there. There's Caesar, I think.
He's on the truck on me. Okay, they did. They're set.
Trying to get mid, bro.
I'm out of right.
Mid. Putting our mid, bro.
We're lower.
Flank.
If you are low, I'm
Flank pressing.
I flip.
Yo, mid.
Stay alive.
Close item once away. He went back. We're gonna spawn on this. Pushing to big control lens.
Stay alive.
He's already under you.
He controls. I killed one.
Might spawn up to
Below me. Absolute.
You're standing over there. Lindsay is fine.
Just stab.
Check him.
Lindsay might flank us.
One shot top. What?
One in new.
He's going top art.
I'm named top art.
Let's get
Mid on me.
I spawned deep front.
One small ball. 100%. Here, ball. I'm waiting for it.
Our dead.
Vault dead. Top it on hill.
They're gonna spawn out.
Spawning all the way up. Yeah, top hill, Caesar.
Top hill, Caesar. Top hill, dead.
Cutting the mid spawner.
I'm one shot. He pushed you in the backstairs on me.
Good top.
Backstairs,
One through left. Line.
I'm sitting up front.
Pressing.
Yo, art.
Top, one's still top hill. Yeah, kick in front of me.
His was art. Kid.
Top hill. Caesar, sit up top. And one's dirt. Dirt, Caesar weak. Dirt, Caesar. He's weak in
One
hill.
shot. He's top me.
Crossing right and then one left.
Left lanes, that's
Two on time. Two.
Two.
They spawn in the back as well.
Yes, statue dead.
backside hill, kids.
One shot in.
He's back right corner by the staircase.
Upstairs, Caesar. There's backside and statue. I'm just down front. He's going back to it. now.
I'm holding the right.
I'm in you right now.
White crate, free speak.
I don't see nothing right.
Show me right. There's, alright, 3 old. What did you guys are?
Art.
3 old and 1 art.
Art dead.
Well, Jay, the follow-up after the second hard point, really Mixy, LAG starting to bring it back. What's your takeaway after the Carolina listen-in?
Just right there for the Gorillas. They did everything they needed to put themselves in a position to try to chain that P3 through the P4, but you get no time off of P3 because of the way that Carolina were playing it, just simply keep you off. They weren't really focused on the spawns, and then when you rotate over towards P4, since you already had the spawns, your first attempt, you instantly get broken in on. So what could have been a 120-point swing, they only get about 30 to 40 seconds there. So slowly but surely fighting their way back into the game with Kismet finding that double leads to nothing else because Carolina have the numbers. Now they're back into the hard point.
Absolutely the case. Slasher having a master class, 29 and 16, still on 3 in a row. And look at him doing the work, just trying to hit the earlier out with still 20 seconds to fight for. That's a little bit of extra space and time for Carolina to get closer and closer to that 200-point mark. Lynn's trying to do it. Oh, he's been good at this before. The walking triple kill from day one. He gets 2 here, and that's going to lead to some space for LAG to rotate quickly to P2.
Yeah, creating these layers is what they need because they need a flawless hold here at P2. Try to get themselves back into the game. A route being hit from TJ, able to win the one-on-one versus Kismet. Where is he now going to spawn? It's going to be all the way across the map. So it's the teammates now approaching from the front. That's 3 dead. Last player alive in the back is going to be Linz, and a flawless play from Carolina on this P2.
This team is moving. They look unreal. And a lot of it is coming again off of a first blood on these motions from their AR line, giving themselves chances at 4v3s time and time again. Gwyn trying to survive inside the hard point, up and down. Just a single pump, he's good for it. Kismet at range really can't do anything, but you got to still try to hit something here if you're LAG with the clock starting to tick against you.
Yeah, you can't give them all this time. Thankfully, they opened up with a double. Relieve some of that pressure, but TJ watching that cross from that mid alley is able to find 2 of his own. So you got Vivid playing with the door, trying to get back into the hard point for that remaining 15. But now you're just going to walk away still with the 70-point lead. Only needing about 30 seconds to close out this map. Number 1, you have Gwyn now fighting that one-on-one for the rotations. Big plays have to come in from Kismet here.
This is just leader's advantage gameplay from Carolina.
Hello.
Having a tough time finding Kismet, eventually does, but he puts this pressure on LAG to have to fight the war on 2 fronts. And as they turn around, knowing they need to try to keep the left side of the map, Carolina find the kills on the hard point. They clear things out, and they even get a little bit of extra time from Vivid before he's finally shut down. LAG need this time, and they do get a 4-down feed to start earning some of it.
Yeah, they need all this 30 though. You need to chain these this time with a couple kills at the very end of this hard point to potentially flip them all the way across the map. But when you have such a lead the way that you do, if you are Carolina, you can afford to hit routes like this. TJ with the double. That makes 3 dead in the feed. Last player alive is going to be Priesta. They already have the info on them. They can no longer win it here, but they all as well have the rotation over towards P4. This might be GG.
And just look at the effort from Gwyn and TJ to zone further forward, knowing your ARs have already backed up into new. This should be last chance here for LAG, and Slasher's not even going to allow them to see the front of the hard. Oh man, Slasher's on 37, 4 in a row. Carolina putting a beat down on the Gorillas mate squad out of LA, and Vivid has instantly quelled some of the map 1 doubts from last they played, because wow, that was an AR masterclass.
That's a stomping right there, man, out of Carolina. Obviously versus Vegas, we watched them in every single respawn go down to the wire, but that was a lot more clean out of the Royal Ravens there. You win a majority of your rotations, your ARs were dominating from start to finish of that game, and you completely outslay the Gorillas in that map number 1. With all the pressure you were setting with your SMGs, with the presence out of your ARs, that was beautifully played out of the Ravens to open up the series 1-0.
And it's just, again, the idea of them pulling out, I think through the majority of the map, 4 ARs, just locking things down. Don't allow a single member from LA to move across the map without being contested. And more often than not, it really did feel like it was either Slasher or Vivid finding a first kill on those big rotational moments to give Carolina these 4v3 moments that just says, all right, Gwyn, TJ, go run. Go hit those extra routes, bump a little bit further forward, just take more of the map. I mean, that was absolute perfection from Carolina in my book.
And it all starts from like the very first part of that game. When they start off getting that P3 to P4 chain, they find themselves up by 60 points. This is when those SMGs now have freedom to hit those long routes, to open up these plays for their ARs, and the ARs to take their sweet time just holding down these lanes because of the time that they have, and they're knowing that the Gorillas have the pressure on them to make up for it. So if you are the Ravens and you're going to continue to play hardpoint like that, just strictly fundamental, obviously when you're getting the kills, it makes it a whole lot easier, but that was just a perfect game plan to open up in this map number 1. Now, if you are the Gorillas, who showed a lot of dominance in their search and destroy, we know what Kismet is capable of, as well as Priesta and Skies, that they won a world championship together through their search and destroys. But Carolina, they got the same thing on the opposite side. You got Slash, who's been playing SD for a long time, TJ, who's phenomenal, and also Gwyn, who's even young and coming, but dominant in search and destroy. So this is going to be a battle here.
Yeah, it really will be. I think the thing, though, about it, again, is, you know, after what we saw against Vegas, granted, it was on Skyline, it didn't look particularly comfortable for them. Yeah. So there is this level, again, of this Carolina team needing to kind of show us what they have in store. And so, again, we're going to see some unique maps in this pool compared to what Carolina had versus Vegas in their opener, starting with the rewind first and foremost, which, again, let's be honest. I mean, we've seen this map a handful of times already on the weekend. It's a lot of make sure you can play your numbers out correctly.
Yeah.
And for LAG, hey, there is a little bit of history there because they were able to really kind of put their foot on the gas when they were playing up against Minnesota in a number of moments, especially in the first blood category.
Yeah, the first blood category is what they needed to fight back for, because in that map number 1 versus Minnesota, they actually went 0-8 in that category and still won the map 6-2. And that's due to the fact that they were playing a little bit of Vault. We know how Vault Search and Destroy can go. You drop down into Vault to plant the bomb. One of the SMGs got to open up with a damn kill, but you can still hold controlled setups in that 3v4. The only difference is now when you're playing Rewind is when we got the chance to watch the Gorillas on the map, it's just when the game started to get slowed down a bit, you had the SMG start to get a little bit antsy to try to make that play happen, and unfortunately it came back to bite them. And then when you get to the later stages of the game, around that round 11, you're giving up the bomb site for free because no one wants to make that mistake. And it's still because this is a new roster. Like, 3 core guys that played together won a world championship, but you're trying to implement Lens into that style because we know what Hydra and Kismet were able to do when they were that dynamic duo in Search and Destroy. You're trying to get Lens and Kismet to do the same exact thing.
So talk to me here again, because you're my pro player on my little duo here. What are we looking for in terms of not just the tempo, but how much of a difference maker is it making that trophy systems are taking a little bit longer because the rounds are coming through so quickly to actually be earned? Is this one of those games that you look at and say, you better have your nade spots down before you start to make any motion towards actually hitting on towards a bomb or retaking onto a bomb site? Because it does feel like that's been a lot of the strategy that we've seen so far for our squads.
Yeah, especially early into these rounds. Like, nades can go over the top side of the Rewind building. You can hit them all the way at that P2 truck right off the respawn. And then early into these rounds, like you said, just thinking about that objective in the back of your mind. Do we have every single angle cut off? We also have to make sure early into these rounds that we are accounting for how many stuns and how many nades are getting invested so we can keep track of that going forward. But without trophy systems, it's very difficult, especially on Rewind, to work that bomb site over towards B. So early on, you're probably going to see a lot of pressure in towards that DVD area.
Love the idea of it. All right, that's the small, at least at a glance, breakdown. What are we actually going to get in practice, though? That's the big question for LAG. A map that they have played, it was a round 11 loss versus Minnesota in map 5 when they had played. So what have they taken away from that previous experience? I think in particular, you look to see how much more value will there be on their lives in the first 30 seconds. Because like you said, the first blood category was not great for them. In particular, Skies went 0-3 when they played against Minnesota in both searches.
Already into this round, though, for the Gorillas. All the investments of the stuns and nades over towards this B side. Kismet just going to send it on in for that first blood, but that can come back to bite him because he is the bomb carrier. They still have the numbers, now making it 2v2.
Bit of a pinch on the way as well. TJ playing from the backside of this, Slasher on the opposite. Skies looking to zone forward over towards this backside alley, and they will collect the bomb. But again, tracking back to B is no easy feat. So they're going to try to re-wrap this, and Slasher finds himself just caught on sprint. So now it comes down to TJ for the 1v2.
And he has an SMG, no tax in the back pocket. It's a lot of time to work with if you are the Gorillas. So they're slowly working their way over towards Burger. Just trying to clear out the mid street, using the buddy system to their advantage. But 30 seconds, eventually the objective has to be on their mind, and I'm thinking it's going to go over towards A.
Sure feels that way. TJ, what kind of timing will he have? Currently just existing over the top of the B site. Now making his move to enter into DVT. Can he catch Priesta? He sure does. Now very doable. He even gets a look at Skies. The 1v1, he knows the bomb is down. And TJ has the benefit of the clock. Now through storage. Here comes the follow-up check. Skies sees him, and TJ knows not enough time to plant. Just run, stay away, and that's going to be enough to secure the 1v2 in the opening round for Carolina.
That's perfectly played right there out of Teach. He catches the timing onto Skies for the bomb carrier. Then when you turn it into a one-on-one, actually Skies was the last person alive, just not enough time to work with. Within only 15 seconds, and the guy you thinking that's going to get the objective goes down, then you instantly get spotted with a shoulder out of TJ through mid-courtyard. That's just the experience right there kicking in for the young man. Carolina take the first round.
Now we've got a 4-man flood avoiding the opening frag over the top from the defense. And look how quick this is for Carolina. Straight on in towards the dumpster, and then beyond that, LAG is going to have to play retake here, Jay.
And this is what LAG needed to show fixes versus Rocker. They were giving up that A-bomb site for free. This time they take it away from them.
Oh.
But they have no presses over towards B. The first blood comes in from Skies, though. Man advantage Gorillas.
Great defensive retake nades. As soon as they clear out A, they're able to get some damage done, but it doesn't make much of a difference. The team shots from Slasher and TJ are flawless. And now Slasher from a place of superiority on top of the trailer tract. That's enough to get TJ again on this pinch around the back. Timing is perfect. Kismet is absolutely stuck in a Bermuda Triangle of Carolina Royal Ravens. They go back to back.
And that's just a beautiful blind counter right there out of the Ravens, man. You get no early investments from your nades, but you realize there's not any pressure into a courtyard. No one's sitting on the backside of their 18. Let's just get this bomb down for free. Thankfully, the nades, you got everyone on Carolina rocking that flak jacket, so no one's going to get one naded for that first blood. Once that first kill happens, the trade is instantly there, and then the crossfire setup from Carolina, too strong. as they secure the second round. Great plays again from TJ on that repinch.
How much of that round do you think is going to play a bit of a mental deterrent to the LAG defense? Like you mentioned, they were struggling over the A site. They full stack it. They've got some set nades over towards B. That still doesn't work out. So remember that to see what they want to do in their next defense. For now, though, trying to get away from a lot of these stuns and nades from Carolina that did land early and will be Priesta for first blood. TJ wants to find the trade, but Skies is there to help support. And this looking like a flawless round unless Gwyn has something to say about it here for LAG.
It's a 1v3. Yeah, not going to be able to get out with his life, and that's beautiful patience right there out of the Gorillas. Realizing that, okay, there's a couple nades coming in through DVD. They're already hitting our stage. They're probably going to be the aggressors on the round. So they find that first blood, actually the first 3 kills before Gwyn is even able to get a trade. But way to stop the bleeding if you are the Gorillas right there. But now to go back to what you said about their defensive setup, with them getting caught off guard early on and towards that B, do they go back to the setup that they had on day number 1 of watching them play the map, with just stacking over towards courtyard to not allow that to happen again?
See what happens. Again, those secondary nades from their defensive setup round A over to the B site were good. They were landing. Just didn't work out for a first blood. And this time, Carolina going to spend a lot of their opening utility right off the rip. And for LAG, no, this is the exact same defensive setup they had previously. Sky's going to re-wrap back over to make sure this back B alley is safe. TJ with the RCXD will get to work scouting out where this defense is.
And he should be able to at least spot a couple players sitting outside a courtyard. But he's going to back down the players from the Gorillas out of this A site to open up that site for Vivid to potentially go for the bomb plant. It's now with 55 seconds left. You get Gwyn to take that glass control, but look at the Gorillas already making the adjustments, pushing their way through warehouse.
Yeah, Gwyn was trying to stop it, but gets caught. So now 4v3 for LAG. But the RCXD is still in effect and is keeping the defense at arm's reach. Finally gets shut down. TJ can now make his motion forward, but this is anything but comfortable for Carolina, trying to get this bomb planted today, and they've lost their bomb carriers. Vivid drops Kismet off the backside. Easy follow-up, and it's just down to TJ for what would have to be a 1v4, and he does not have a lot of time to make that happen, and the shutdown will come through.
Yeah, that's just beautifully played right there from the Gorillas, man. They realize that, okay, an RC's coming in. It's going to back us out of the A site. They don't just give up the A site for free. They still put a lot of pressure over towards the Gen area to find that first blood. And I think that's what really hurt Carolina there for Gwyn dropping first, because you had 2 players in towards the site. You could have worked that objective still with the RC car abound, but once he drops, you have to get out of the RC. Then the second player drops at the same time because Vivid tried to make a play with that bomb. Just great plays from the Gorillas. Again, just slowing down these rounds. Tie up the game at 2.
Okay, let's reset things back towards neutral. And let's keep an eye to see what our trophy systems are going to look like, because they should start coming through here pretty soon. Carolina taking a very passive approach on the backside at B. It's a double stack there with the trophy system to keep Gwyn and Vivid safe. Defensive stuns will get information that Priest is playing outside the RV. Follow-up nades will not land, though. So again, we stay 4v4.
Curious to how many players have tax left, because we saw all those nades and stuns thrown up in the air. Linz is going to have a frag in his back pocket, but now they have full DVD control. And with the bomb going down, Carolina going to need to try to find some success in this 4v4 retake.
Wow, and Slasher just takes a slide across the front doors. TJ over the backside at Burger, shut down by Linz, but from the front, Carolina starting to build some pressure on this retake. Both LAG members stay alive, stay healthy, but they need to catch an angle on the bottom. They both run into Gwyn. Opening shots are good, a little bit of collateral damage, which Vivid can follow up on, and Carolina reclaim their lead.
That's just beautifully played right there from Carolina, specifically Slasher, just edging his way up through that mid-street to find that bomb carrier as soon as he goes down, because he was with an SMG in hand. He was probably going to put himself in a position to play close and up and personal to try to find a kill around that site. But when Slasher opens up with that first kill, even though TJ gets traded, you're already showing a lot of presence in towards DVD. So you force the Gorillas to back on out, and Gwyn plays it to perfection, watches the rotation over towards Street, gets the info on both, and they secure the successful retake on the defensive side to take the advantage again, 3-2.
What about that first blood from Slasher, though?
He was crawling up the mid-street like a caterpillar.
I'll say it. But wow, huge first blood. Carolina take advantage. RCXD earned and utilized immediately. And that's got to be from LAG's side. Yeah, sure is. It's Priesta who's controlling it. He's staying safe all the way deep towards the backside of B. And this is essentially now a 5v4 because the RCXD is just playing this little wiggle on the corner.
Yeah, it's basically, you cannot go over towards this B side. We got all the info on this side of the map. And then the ARs from the Gorillas, you can already see, take a lot of control of Burger and mid-street. So they have all the crosses in towards DVD. So if you are Carolina, you got to work your way in through mid-zig.
Yeah.
But with only 45 seconds left, now that that RC goes down, the play might be at TB.
A couple of delayed defensive nades, not going to land for much information. Now a late trophy system is placed. Carolina trying to get themselves set up for this B execute. Keep your eye on Kismet, number 7 around the back. Slasher, he's turned, and he's going to be able to at least fight back to bottom. Now here comes Carolina. They're going to isolate, and they will find the kill. Can they rewrap this back into A, though? Skies is still watching a bit of a cross, and now Linz is here to help support.
Yeah, Linz has to try to make a play. You don't want to allow this bomb to go down for free, and when he tries to peek, Slasher makes him pay for it. His second on the round. In the 3v2 is Carolina. Priest and Sky's got to try to clutch on up.
And Skies, this is completely caught up. Slasher able to confirm where Priest is located. This would be a 1v3 for him. Still tagged, but on the regen. Has Gwyn a bit more at range. Stun will land, and here comes TJ on the side. Easy follow-up, no worries there, and we're staying this 2-round for 2-round exchange. Carolina up 4-2.
And that's where the experience comes into play, specifically in Search and Destroy. They realize, okay, 30 seconds. We still got enough time to rob this bomb site over towards A. But once they gain that info onto Kismet, you can already see the chemistry is there for this young Carolina roster. Everyone turns around to isolate him. You get that first kill. Now we have the man advantage. We rotate over towards the site because the rest of the Gorilla members were playing for that B pressure. So you get the bomb down for free. You catch Linz off the guard through that mid street. Just easily well executed plays out of Carolina. Now up 4-2.
Nades once again ceremoniously over the top. Neither really finding much impact. Our third RCXD now makes its way on the field. And look at the aggression here. Hold on a second. TJ's making a play. He's already gotten deep through. Skies. All timing is decent. TJ still goes 1 for 1. Trades are decent. Back and forth we go. And we're left with a 2v2.
Got Gwyn and Vivid trying to clutch on up. Priest and Linz not trying to get put at game point. But that bomb is going to be now over towards the A site. And it's an all-out mix fest in the back of the spawn.
Oh, timing here could be everything. Vivid.
Oh my God.
Sliced his way between 2 different LAG members. He will get the full clearance that nothing is B Street. And it's one of those moments where no information is good information. You haven't seen anybody, so you have to know that they're playing somewhere through the middle of the map. And it looks like there is a bit more confirmation here as Gwyn keeps his sights up towards the front doors at A.
Yeah, no information, like you said, is good information because Vivid is clearing out all of that right side. So Gwyn has to know that they're playing around that mid-street area. And might have put himself in a perfect position to potentially clutch this round.
Has he seen them on this rewrap back over to B? Sure seems to have. He is chasing shadows right now. Timing is everything right here. He sees Priesta. That's going to be enough now for the pop over, but Priesta wins his 1 versus Vivid to the 1v1. Not a lot of time remaining. Gwyn, he's going to have a chance at the gunfight, and he does take it. Priesta can't believe it. Had an angle, had an opportunity, but it does not make a difference. Carolina find themselves on map point.
Just greatly executed on that 2v2 scenario. The fact that Vivid works his way all the way through the street, even though he gets some really bad COD timing on the backside of Yellow to spot either one of those players, just the info that he was able to get and then give it to Gwyn to realize where the play was coming in. He spots those players through the middle of the street, working their way through courtyard. And I thought once you get that first kill off the bomb, you probably want to run away with your life, but he did not want to get bad COD timing there. Clutches up in a one-on-one versus Priest, and now Carolina at game point.
Bit of a hit through this back electrical worm. And how about LAG still in that same defensive setup? 3 members right inside and on top of A. Skies likely to take the rewrap back to the B street. Counter nades coming out for LAG, but Carolina have hit the brakes here. So none of these defensive nades are landing whatsoever. Now there's just got to be confusion here for LAG of where are these guys?
Yeah, this is tough. This is a tough play to try to read here because you invest all your attacks to try to gain a little bit of info, but gain nothing. There's already another RC car sitting on that B site. It's clearing its way out for Carolina. Now you're just going to work that objective.
4v4 post plant. Slasher gets confirmation on where Skies is positioned, but the opener goes the way of Kismet on the mid-zig. Linz right behind some of the play. He still stays concealed. Slasher, what can he do? Gets an opportunity at Skies, cannot convert. Follow-up should be decent here from Gwyn, but instead, Gwyn just takes the back seat. He's got the Hellstorm. He's gonna try to win the game with this right here. You have to try to chase him down if you're Priesta and Linz. Do any of these missiles connect? The first 2 will not. The last bit of ordnance goes over to Priesta's direction. He'll land. That's 6 in a row for Gwyn. A 1v1 with Linz. 13 seconds on the clock. And Linz is taking the patient approach, but how long can he wait? Apparently just long enough. Linz finds Gwyn on the mantle, and that'll be enough to extend the map.
He didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
He did not get it. He did not get it. Carolina walked away victorious, Alan.
We zoomed out, and I thought he still had 7.5. Couldn't see the clock. Oh my goodness. Just enough time, and Carolina will take flight on a 2-0 edge. And we'll take a look back at it because we literally zoomed right out of the 1v1. I thought the timing is right here. He's got 8, but he had an accident. Oh no!
That's so tough. That is so tough. It's like when there's a weapon at the bottom of a zip line, you're just picking it up every single time. But Carolina clutch up in the search to destroy. Gwyn puts the team on his back in those final couple of rounds to earn himself that Hellstorm. I really don't know what Priestess was doing in that scenario. I don't know if he thought every single missile blew up at that point, but he just walks out, gives the free kill to Gwyn, and then with only 15 seconds left, it's very difficult for Linz to try to locate where he is and also stick that defuse. He was able to find that kill, but just not enough time to work that defuse. And unfortunately, Carolina take the search and destroy. Even on the back of Vivid going 1-7, there was multiple clutch rounds out of Gwyn and TJ. They were really setting the tone with those SMGs. A beautiful game plan to completely counter what Gorillas were going to throw at them. And now they're up 2-0 in the series.
And once again, it's another map where the first bloods just don't seem to make a difference. LG come out 6-2 on the first blood advantage, but still lose to the opposite score. So theatrics, drama to finish off that round number 8, but it does keep Carolina in a position of major control here, and they look good. And I know the desk has a lot to say probably about that. So we'll swap back to you guys, and we'll see what conclusions we have to draw.
There is one person brave enough to pick Carolina. Again.
Yep. They just look good, man. They're a very good team. You know, solid on all levels, search and destroy. That's what we expect to see from them in the search and destroy game mode, having players like Slasher and TJ, and despite Vivid having a bad game, still able to run away with the dub.
How do I get Slasher off of a truck, or any annoying player who watched Slasher play and is now going to do it to me tonight?
I don't know if you can get him off the truck, Chris. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. Switching gears a little bit, though, off of Gas in Carolina, LAG in that search and destroy, what I didn't expect is just how uncomfortable they look in this game mode. They clearly seem to feel the missing presence of Hydra and the pace that he sets, because throughout like round 5 and 6, if you go and watch it back, like they just look uncomfortable. They're not really hitting things out together. And when they do, they're giving themselves really bad timing, as if they don't trust each other to hold flank or watch something, maybe some miscommunication. So a lot of work to be done for LAG's S&D.
The LAG mates trio, won a world championship 2 years ago.
Yep.
What's happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to figure out this game. It plays obviously way different than the last 2 titles that we've had. And then in Search and Destroy, like, you have to play together in this game. You saw so many rounds how Carolina pushing up towards the B Street, using their attacks, and then wrapping back and isolating Kismet. Where in past years, Kismet had so much success being a guy on an island, making a huge impact play. It's not going to work as well this year, given how the map design is and how you can play together and bait and switch the whole map. So I think they just got to figure out how to approach this game.
Give them a little time. Well, they have at least one more map. Let's take a look back, though, at the hard point, because if they hope to win this series, they got to win the second one. What went down in our first?
Yeah, let's hop into drawing conclusions. So this is rotational success. We're going to talk about this one as it stands right now. The map is tied. It's going to be like 5-point difference. And right here, you have to make a big play if you're the Carolina Royal Ravens. So what I want you guys to do is notice here on your mini map, this is TJ Halley. He's making a rotation over towards New, trying to get control of the building, right? And he knows all the players are spawning here. So if anybody's going to be wrapping back, trying to get favorable positioning, they're going to be coming this direction. So I want you guys to see sort of how this plays out, though, because he makes a really heads-up play when he gets over towards that building, which we'll jump back into the minimap and explain more. But as it stands right here, he's just looking for information. He's trying to find players. He doesn't exactly want to engage, and I'm going to tell you guys why here in a second. We'll pause it. He's waiting for the time to dwindle out and it to be the new hill, because he wants to spawn everybody back here, because if he spawns everybody back here, his teammates can turn around and play those cuts and basically pick up all those kills, giving them perfect positioning and a ton of time on this hill. So let's watch him slay some fools. He's going to pick up a couple kills, waits for the time to expire, picks up the first one, looks over front and gets another kill, and then turns around for the 3-piece. So using his brain, using his gunny to clear everybody out. And then as you can see, they're all spawning. Let's get this map right. Oh, there we go. They're all spawning down here, and the rest of the team can turn and refocus their attention and dominate this hill. They then go on to go up by about 70+ points and blow the game wide open.
Trigger discipline. Love to see it.
Do love to see it. And TJ was doing this throughout the entirety of the game, right? There was multiple times where he had an open lane, was able to abuse it to set his team up for success.
Yeah, he was that guy. So many rotations, and that was a big one.
Well done. More conclusions being drawn.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping us revisit that one.
Up top.
Killing it on the Telestrator. We also have a man killing it in the game. Let's take a look at our skunk play of the game. It's early. I wanted it right now. Isaiah Quinn, a.k.a. Quinn, doing Quinn-like things alongside Slasher. Walk me through this final round.
I mean, Quinn is just that guy, this whole search and destroy. The last round obviously was the nail in the coffin. He has the crews to work with. He's going to call it. It's why they went over towards the B site. He's not going to catch them with the extra missiles, but he will find the kill on the Priesta. And right now, he just has to play time. Go and check the bomb just once to see if he can get this player off it. And unfortunately for Linz, he gets the kill, but isn't able to get the defuse.
I look like Gwen kind of tweaked at that point. Like if he was sneak defusing it, he would have got it. You just gotta wait a second. And the only reason they win that round is because Linz has a blunder and reloads instead of hops the bomb instantaneously. A wild round success nonetheless if you're Gwen, but man, that was crazy.
6-2 the final score. LAG getting beat up in S&D. Coming up, though, we have a Game 3. We're going to Control, and I'm told the casters are ready to party. Vault is coming up next. Sticking with your team, I'm sure.
I'm thinking they're getting a 3-0.
Is this going to be a 3-0?
I don't think it's going to be a 3-0. I think we'll go to a map number 4, but it could go Carolina's way.
Shift and study. It's your show. Take it away.
Yeah, we're always here to party. You know that. That's the way we rock out this way. No, it's been a good series so far. It really has been. I know the scoreline may not necessarily suggest it based on the 251-61 and then the 6-2 there. But again, the conclusions that were drawn, absolutely perfect. Key moments that Carolina keep finding themselves on top in. That's kind of the storyline for me right now.
It's just those quick decisions that need to be happening for Carolina. They're making them very, very quickly with this brand new roster. So if they can continue to do that, they're probably going to walk away victorious in a clean 3-0 because we watched them play this map already versus Vegas, and they were able to walk away with obviously 2 defensive rounds, 1 attacking round. Very, very easy work for them. And on the opposing side for the Gorillas, this is another map that they fell short versus Rocker all around round number 5, and that's due to the fact that they had back-to-back offenses to close out those rounds. Even the trophy systems could not save them, but just the way that Carolina are playing right now, everyone's in sync. If you are the Gorillas, we need to see a little bit more teamwork, and I know it's going to be very difficult because it's still the beginning of the season. You need time, and that's what the Nets touched on in the middle of that break.
And the other part of this, it's something to kind of keep an eye on here as we jump into the Vault Control, is that Linz was really limited in terms of how much he could do on the map thanks to the AR presence of Carolina. Will that still be the case here as we jump on into the Control? Very different game mode, but Slasher trying to make a play around the back gets shut down, and this could lead to a pretty early stack. Next contest is a big one here for Carolina if they're to stop this A progress.
Yeah, second segment already about to come in. Every single time a Carolina player is trying to go for a route, they are getting easily read and taken care of. So time is going to be extended already to 2 minutes and 15 seconds to work with. And you can already see all of the Gorillas dropping down in the Vault. Let's instantly try to make our way over towards B.
Haven't touched it yet, and now Slasher has a chance to really break down some of this forward motion from LAG. The only player they have not found yet is Priesta, and he is
big plays
all the way over towards the bottom side of the map. Although the thing for here is Carolina's defense also has some forward progression towards this LAG spawn.
But Priesta is able to find at least 1 kill towards the back end. Fortunately, he is going to fall. Now you're just hoping that the rest of your teammates can take a little bit of map control away from Carolina as they show a lot of presence in towards mid. Kismet and Priesta combined for 2. And now if you are Carolina, make sure you have your nades in the back pocket because they're already here.
Kismet trying to bump a little bit further forward, shut down by Carolina. All 4 guns we're looking
Beautiful.
at a turn as Gwyn finds Priesta as well. That's going to push back LAG's offensive attempt towards B. Linz trying to stay safe. Bottom side Vault tagged up as TJ trying to find the hunt, but very patient, just does not check his corner fully, and that'll be enough for Priesta and Linz to turn the tides just a touch. But all things told, 19 plays 18, minute 13 on the clock, and we've got a pretty even affair here.
And Gwyn's on 5 in a row. Unfortunately, the double chow from that pool area and towards bottom Vault is going to be able to take care of him. It's already been a minute wiped off the game clock. And still a great setup from Carolina around that B point. You have Slasher being the safety net on the side of those palm trees, just making sure he's able to at least eliminate one player on that point. But Linz is able to assist his teammate. So that first segment is going to come in, and that's 3 dead.
Yep, this is it. Gwyn trying to contest. He gets shut down. There's 2 players on. Second tick of progress. Going to get locked in. Third will quickly be on the way. Kismet watching the cross to try to stop these Carolina defenders from even touching the zone. They've been able to take one off. Can he get the second? Yeah, he sure can, but he cannot get there to touch in time. The last remaining member for LAG able to get the 3rd tick, and with that, the offensive round.
That's great plays right there from the Gorillas. Every single time they needed to work out of their base, they showed a lot of presence through that mid-map. Consistently try to have players working that overextension. It's not set up easily for Carolina, but it all starts with finding that kill onto Slasher. Once Lynn catches the timing through mid-double doors to take care of him, you know that all of Carolina are playing nice and slow in the back of their spawn. So take care of the farthest player pushed up, get on the point, force them out of their positionings, then eventually get the stack going. Great opening attack with no trophy systems out of the Gorilla base.
Yeah, that's huge. We've seen that a couple of times, though, so far. These opening 2 rounds have often gone the way of the offensive side, which is not what I've experienced in ranked play, I'll tell you that much. But we'll see if Carolina can respond here. Again, every segment of the 3, once they get locked, they're locked forever. 30 lives to try to make this happen if you're new to Control. TJ over the top. Gets a look over towards Priest that pushes him off the angle, but they don't track down Linz. And that's enough for him to keep this LA defense very formidable over the top of the A zone.
You can already see they're taking away that B Street control. They're trying to work their way over towards gold, force all of the Ravens to overextend over through that pool side. And they're just going to waste a lot of time trying to locate where these players from the Gorilla are. They are effective again on the trade. 2-2 split now, but Priesta with that double is going to keep the numbers in their advantage.
Gwyn just trying to play a little bit of whack-a-mole from inside the bottom part of ball. Shut down Slasher, catches Priesta, bursting through the doors over towards gold. That shuts down some of this defensive least effort to control the B Street. But the thing about this is there's just no eyes at all over the top of A. Carolina just do not have a lot of options right now.
And they don't have a single segment as well, so you gotta try to make up for it in one of those categories. And with only 30 seconds left, you gotta get a move on it. You have a little bit of cat control, a lot of presence around this mid-map area. Just need the kills to go with it. TJ strikes first, but again, the effective trades coming in from the Gorillas keep them in the man advantage situation.
And the SFGs for LAG are just having a field day right now. A combined 20 and 11 for Kismet and Linz. Down to the final 18 seconds. Clock will stop as Carolina jump on the A zone. Priesta from the low ground takes care of the offensive contest, and that's enough to drain out the clock, plus the segment. It's absolutely beautiful from LAG. Last player is TJ up top. Do they get a chance to even touch this? Vivid may have to try to dive on in. Gwyn over the top as well. They do get a moment of contest, but Priesta around the back will take care of it. One more to find in the form of TJ. Oh, doesn't finish his food, and that will do it. Wow, dominating defense as LAG go up 2-0.
Whew. They're looking great when it comes to this situation, to where every single time the mixes is coming about, when all the gunfights are going down, they are just putting themselves in a position to come out on top in those man advantages every single time, slowing down the pressure from Carolina. Not a single segment earned on their part. Now a tall ladder to climb to try to fight their way back into this game, because now the Gorillas are in the full advantage. You got all 6 segments complete. You got trophy systems going into this attacking round.
Yep.
They might be able to extend the series here if they continue to slay the way that they have been.
I know our ops team also wants us to mention the fact that Priest is on 5. Getting closer to a potential hellstorm. A little bit of friendly fire off the opening team nade. Kismet trying to make something desperate happen over towards B. This kind of feels like this is trying to open up Priesta for a chance to get a couple more eliminations over towards B Street, but that goes completely awry. Priesta up and down over to the palm tree. Gets kill number 6, working closer and closer towards the Hellstorm, but is having a tough time walking down probably the other 3 kills he's going to need at least if he wants to get this cruise.
But look at the map control he's already taken away from Carolina. Can he try to play his life? No, the double chow too strong from the Ravens. 45 seconds to play with. Now the Gorillas have changed their focus on the pressure over towards A, as that's already 3 dead in the feed. Linz having himself a map alongside Kismet. You said the SMGs are roaming around, having a good time. First segment complete.
Yeah, nearly both of them sitting at double positive. Second pick still being worked on. Linz shut down. Here's a chance for Carolina. 3 straight eliminations. 1 more to find. It's Priesta. He's able to keep the play at least remotely alive over the top of A, but he is being chased and he will be dealt with. So that's all 4 down. Second tick of progress depleted almost completely. And how about Gwyn through B Street? Able to, again, put a little bit more punish on this LAG spawn.
But now you have to put a little bit of rotation coming in towards that B streak, because once Gwyn falls, you can start to work your way up and potentially put the game clock at a pause if you want to work your way over towards B. But they're just trying to use this as a decoy, hoping that their teammates can find a couple kills around that middle of the map. The game clock does come to a pause, but Priest are the only player in a position to try to make something happen.
LAG doing the job that needs to be done, though. 17 plays 14. They've dug into this life deficit pretty darn nicely. Gwyn trying to get it done himself. That's a 1v3 he's just elected to take, and he gets punished for it. Third tick, locked, and yep, here we go. Just a 2 life advantage. Make it 1, as LAG will get the full A zone, meaning they get another minute to try to opportunistically get over to B quickly.
Yeah, they're already on it. A lot of presence around Vault. You have Lynn sitting on the side of those palm trees, just watching that top window. That's 2 dead in the feed. Gwyn through Vault, has to try to make a play.
It's another moment where he's got to find himself in a 1v2. Takes care of Skies. Priesta not on the zone, found by Slasher. Back to a 2 life edge. Vivid also confirms the information that Kismet's playing over towards the back of their spawn, and they do not want to let him stay here safely. But at the same rate, Carolina making sure that LAG are tested and taking the long route off of their spawn of their own.
Oh, but the timing right there out of Kismet to get out on the backside of that P4 building. You still have 2 players from Carolina trying to locate where he is, and this should allow the Gorillas to push right up through the front. Now you're able to spot Kismet. Everyone should start to turn. Throw your nades at the point.
Yep, Slasher takes care of Kismet, stopping the clock. Now down to 37 seconds, a 9v6. LAG still working through the middle of the map. Carolina, knowing that their back is secure, have gotten a little bit further out of their spawn. Priesta has TJ in trouble. Semtex out. Vivid with the supply of support. How about that? But it may not make a difference. Kismet takes down both. And now it's just down to trying to find where Slasher and Gwyn are. 20 seconds left for the 7v4.
Yep, Gwyn's in a great position to at least find one. Slasher wins his one-on-one across the map. Only 2 players alive. Now for the Gorilla mates. As with only 10 seconds left, Carolina are going to be able to stay alive, and unless Kismet turns into a god at this point of the game. With only 3 seconds, you got to find every single chill, try to get onto the point. The last player alive is going to be Linz. He's able to find a double, tries to turn on the Slasher, but Carolina stay alive on the defense.
Yep.
They're down by 10 segments, so it's going to be back-to-back offensive round wins if they're trying to close it out in 3.
Even in that third round, scary moments for Carolina's defense, but like you mentioned, it will have to be back-to-back offensive rounds due to the difference in the ticks that have currently been captured. And I, again, had to keep going back to this LAG front line. The SMGs are looking much better here on the control compared to the hardpoint.
And right there was the micromanaging of Royal Ravens, just not losing track of players. I think that's one thing I've seen so far throughout this entire weekend, is that when you allow one of these SMGs players to get lost in the back of your spawn and just roam around the map with you not knowing exactly what he's doing, that's when the game starts to get out of hand. But with Vivid giving that calm, that knowing that Kismet is there, once they get that kill in the Kismet, everyone starts to approach their way on forward. Just good job to keep track of everyone to make sure the game is stable.
Yeah, this opening break-off, super important for Carolina, and it is not going well. Gwyn at least gets 1 back, but that's a 4-for-1 exchange. And look at the pressure that TJ already feels coming off spawn. On the opposite side of a Vivid, trying to deal with as many LAG defenders as they possibly can. And that's not bad, 2-for-1 on the trade. And that's going to lead to an opportunity for Carolina to get eyes on the A zone.
But look at the pinch coming in from Linz. He might have timed this to perfection. He finds one, is able to find a double. Still 1 more player alive in Vivid, but with everyone falling, you just want to hold your position. Trying to catch anyone from the Gorillas, trying to put your teammates in a little bit of a spawn trap, but finds that opening kill onto Kismet. But with 40 seconds left, with that double, this is where you go at.
And they get information that Skies is also playing just over the top of the A zone. Good nade into this back U-Haul. Vivid pushing off both defenders. Allows Carolina to pause the clock at 34 seconds and stack a little bit here for the first tick. Second on the way. Linz are able to shut down Slasher. Skies from the top gets a second. And now Vivid has to keep this masterclass alive, and he almost gets the lineup for 2, but instead it's shut down, and LAG will continue to contest this second tick.
Yeah, and that's where Carolina cannot have all 4 players in towards that middle, around that 8 point, because you give up that catwalk for free. And then all of the Gorillas attack that side of the map. They're able to hit a couple pitches and find a little bit of a break, but they work their way back on in for that second segment to come in. Only down by 1 life, should be able to extend this game clock, because I don't think the Gorillas are going to give it 1 more push.
And Gwyn's just trying to see if he can take advantage of some timing. Lynn sees it, doesn't make much of a difference, and Gwyn's now on the hunt for Priesta. It'll be TJ who finds him first. Now it's just down to, can you reduce this defense to have to play out of their spawn? Gwyn trying to be a thorn in the side, but gets shut down. Carolina keep things level, though, making sure LAG are still at least somewhat reserved on their defensive setup. It just comes down to what kind of damage can Kismet do in their back line.
Yeah, Kismet's just being a nuisance. You have 2 players coming off the respawn trying to locate where he is. Thankfully, Slasher is able to catch him in a situation where his teammate already finds a kill, and now you have this route being hit from Gwyn. He opens up with that first kill. Can he find anything more? Because they're going to spawn so damn far away from this point. Just going to fall into the hands of what Priest can get done on this pinch.
Well, first take gets locked, second on the way, Priesta. There's the pinch. Vivid, who had stayed alive through so many different nades, cannot exist through the pressure of the flank from Priesta. Skies gets a kill down, but loses his life. That's enough to keep this clock stopped at 42 seconds. Lens, little wraparound over through Lion. Good help from Kismet. And now LAG can take their full focus to TJ, who does get cleared off the point, and the clock continues to tick away.
And that's Big P, dog, man. Hitting the long route with that AR all the way through poolside. Wraps his way over towards B Street. Just finds one and continuously is blocking that close gold spawn to make the game a lot easier for his teammates. Now with only 25 seconds left, last hurrah here for Carolina. 2 players fall. This might be over.
Sure feels that way. It's going to have to be TJ to touch the zone and stay alive in this 1v1 with Kismet. He's also trying to help out Gwyn, though, on this pinch, who needs to get involved, but TJ will drop. 8 seconds remaining. Has to be Gwyn to touch. He's been seen. Skies with the pistol out. Going to try to get right behind, and he does find the kill. Last 2 seconds. Kismet will fall in the zone. A chance to touch, but not for long enough, and LAG will get on the board with a 3-1 control.
Gorilla said, not today. We are not getting 3-0'd in our second match. We're going to show a little bit of fight, and that's exactly what they did on that vault control. All the ARs, even 3 at some points of that game. We're able to hold down those power positions, keep track of every single player. And then when you need a big play to come in, when it started to get a little bit scary, just Priesta hitting that route, winning that one-on-one gunfight, catching a player coming off the respawn, and just blocking those close spawns for Carolina. Made it easier for the Gorillas to stand strong on that defensive setup. They stayed with Carolina in the lane. That's what it really came down to. You had the SMGs applying that pressure around the middle of the map, not really giving up these segments easily to Carolina, just always in their face. Great plays from the Gorillas from start to finish of that map to now at least force this map number 4.
And again, it's the SMGs for LAG that just have a much better time on control here at Vault comparatively to some of the limitation that they were kind of meeting in the opening hard point. They finished in the combined 54 and 42. Not bad whatsoever considering how much they were flying all over the map. So with that in mind, now we take our attention to Skyline for map number 4. Both teams got a rep on this, and actually both teams found very similar results. 251-79 for Carolina against Vegas, where LAG found a 250-175 versus Minnesota. And I think the storyline here, Jay, at least in my mind, is whose SMG line is going to step up again, because this map can get furious.
Man, we were watching Lens the first time we saw him on Skyline, just 3-piece after 3-piece. So that's going to be fun to watch, especially on the smallest map that we have in Hardpoint. Going up against the likes of TJ and Gwyn, who can potentially pull out that second SMG if need be. But this is going to be a mix fest because we know how fast Skyline can be. But the teams who usually tend to dominate this map are the teams that can slow it down as much as they possibly can. The little things, the micromanaging of realizing, okay, I got an SMG pushing out towards low piano. I got to make sure I'm blocking out the backside. Oh, I got an SMG pushing out towards bar side. I have to make sure I'm blocking because these spawns can be so sticky at certain points to where if you give it up for a small second, that pitch is going to be developing.
And that's something that I think we saw the adaptations from Carolina get really, I think, heavily noticed when they were playing up against Vegas, because at one point in time, that was a 175-175 game. And
yeah.
It feel like Carolina were just not controlling the macro sense of the map all that well until it mattered the most. You know, going from that last P3 to P4, that's when you really saw, I think, Slasher in particular, shut down lanes, allow Gwyn to find more success, just doing what he wants to do. So that's kind of a game plan element that I think we really need to keep our eye on here to see if Carolina have been able to resound themselves to be better when it comes to controlling the map.
And then on the opposite side for the Gorillas, when they squared up against Rocker on this map, it didn't start off so hot because they lost basically every single rotation in the first half of that game. But then they made up for it with Lins popping threes, with them hitting rotations. We're able to dominate that second half of the game and start to pull away with it to at least force that map number 5. So they are super confident on this map 4 to at least get it to that game 5.
Indeed the case. I know there's probably a little bit of chatter to see this LAG team, again, after the lengthy first match that they had versus Minnesota. Could they find a way to get this thing back to a map 5 and find one of our first reverse sweeps of the year? Feels like based on that control, things are starting to click again. And again, going to a skyline with the potential of map number 5 being on red card. Feels like anything can happen when you get to that map, so
yeah.
Who knows?
You definitely take an elevator and find yourself on a 3rd story. Who knows what's going to happen if we get all the way to red card? But I think the 2 plays that I really want to focus on were the game changers in that map number 1, at least on the side of Carolina. If you can get Vivid to go out there and slay, and completely slay with either that AR or that SMG in hand, that's going to make it a lot easier for everybody else on Carolina, because that's the guy that we're expecting to just do the dirty work, to make sure his teammates are in a great position to win the map. You're thinking about Gwyn getting those kills, TJ with that SMG being the aggressor, and Slasher just holding it down with that AR. But with Vivid setting the tone in the slaying department, if he can do that again, they're probably going to close it out. And on the opposing side, I'm really looking at Priesta. This is a guy who I'm so high up on, a player of his caliber, which he's able to do every single thing on the map. He can pick up a pistol, he can pick up a riot shield, a sniper, AR, SMG. He's able to get the job done. So on a map like Skyline, where he's potentially going to pull out that 2nd or 3rd SMG at some points, he needs to have a great day as well to try to force this game 5.
Again, if you're tuning in late, the synopsis over map number 1 was an AR difference. Slasher went 38-23. On the other side, Priesta 18-30, Skies 21-33. And you mentioned again, Vivid was also +6 at 30-24. So the ARs for Carolina really did a lot of the heavy lifting in map number 1. Do we expect that to happen again? That's the big question here, as the opening battle does resort into a 2v2. TJ, bottom side Jim, gets help from Slasher, and Carolina can get the early time on P1.
And they already flipped the spawns. That is exactly how you want to come out when you're not spawning on the preferred side of that P2 HP. But as soon as I say that, Gorillas find 3 in a row to at least find an early big. But now you got Gwyn, the player on my fantasy team who's so far getting me a lot of points this weekend, sitting at 3-1, holding down top cap while his teammates are soaking up this P1 time.
Not a bias caster, by the way.
Nope, none at all.
Team Nate out of LAG has them limited in terms of what they can do around the hot tub. And Slasher, again, the timing he's finding is absolutely perfect. And with Gwyn also holding on to a 3rd AR here, it's just the ARs for Carolina are not allowing LAG to move across the map in any form.
They just got him trapped, man. Now you win a perfect rotation over towards P2. Gwyn already finds himself on 5 in a row. He's realizing where the pressure is coming in, but it doesn't matter. You drop down and no one is there for you to kill. So it's a clean 4 dead in the feed for Carolina. Now you can take a little bit more map away from them, push your way over towards Bar, make it 6, gives the comp to his teammates. Gwyn can do no wrong.
Then LAG are in hell right now, trying to stretch across that middle end of the map. TJ, aggressive motion, only able to find 1. Lynn still stays alive, 30 seconds to fight for. Spawns are still good for Carolina. Do they get a read on where this hit is coming from? TJ picking up the piano side. Gwyn still staying very active over the top middle of patio. Trade so far decent. LAG find a way to crack themselves into the hard point for now, but can they finish up? No, the answer is very clearly Carolina favored, and they're going to get to 75 off 2 hard points thus far.
And you already see on your mini-map the positioning of Slasher, the vet of this team, thinking about the next big play. And if we can secure those spawns for that P3 to P4 chain, that could be even easier, but he is going to fall. Now the pressure from the rest of his teammates through the middle of the map, with Gwyn finding the double with that SMG in hand, and early break is in.
Trying to get the regen as LAG off their spawns over towards the patio side. Flood back on into kitchen. That's a clean kill feed. And look where Carolina are spawning. This is not where you necessarily want to be. You need to pick up these lanes. And wow, they just run through the middle of the map. No one even sees this. TJ's going to try to play from back staircase. Priesta holding him back for now. The hit from the front, though, also developing simultaneously. So LAG really being tested. Trades are decent, but Carolina will win out on the old time of 23 seconds to fight.
And this is what happens when you grow yourself such a big lead in the beginning of the game. You can afford to hit these long routes, to try to pinch those spawns, play the mind games versus the Gorillas. They find a little bit of a break for the potential final 20 seconds, but Priest is trying to play his life on the back of the new hard point. Unfortunately, is going to get bait and switched. But at least his teammates are still going to get those coast spawns. Now you just got to locate where the hell does Slasher go.
And he's out of there. And finds Lynn. So now a 4v3 in the break attempt.
Oh, man.
Oh, mercy. He's able to find the second. Kismet, Sky's trying to hang on. Carolina will have Slasher spawn right on the...
Oh, man.
And he's going to take down another double. Now it's just to the fight inside the hard point. Vivid in a prime spot to lock down Lynn's, and Carolina can do no wrong.
And what do you say, Alan? LAG are literally in hell. They're thinking they're getting all the kills around the back. No way Slasher's gonna get that close spawn on the backside of that picnic table, but he comes on spawn, catches the double, and secures the back spawns for his team. Now up by more than 100, the Gorillas have to fight for every ounce of scrap com that they possibly can. So 20 seconds here at P4. The pressure's still gonna be here though from Carolina.
Just trying to fight for every single second. But LAG, a moment where they can breathe. Scrap time secured. Just under 100 point game is reset back over to the hot tub. Waiting for it to open up his Kismet, but Gwyn finds him immediately. And now look at the map control, the mini-map. Carolina have a position for TJ to just go rogue as soon as the hit starts to develop. He's also soaking hardpoint time. And LAG, they have to find this kill quickly, and they do. Okay, here's a moment. LAG with the 4v2 opportunity over P1.
They're now soaking up this hill time. But you need a lot of this time to try to get yourself back into this game. The way that Carolina are playing, though, you can see they're just holding. They are not pushing up past that 50-yard line. They don't want to potentially spawn the Gorillas behind them. They just want to kill everything right in front of them. That is a clean 4 dead again. Still 30 seconds here at this P1. And the Gorillas now have to push through this and think about that next hard point.
And they're getting caught on sprint. Vivid just zoning off top bedroom, right back into the hallway.
Oh, man.
It's for Skies. Woo-hoo-hoo. How about Carolina? Vivid on 5 in a row. Does he get a read on the players trying to hit through the top side of the halls? May not need to. Help is on the way. You've got TJ who spawned in Narnia, but Vivid still holding his own. Gwyn following up, and Carolina all over it, but they do lose spawns, and LAG will take advantage of that.
Yeah, LAG with the numbers should be able to bombard their way back into this, because this P2 tends to be a money hill. Just cannot allow someone to slip on by, find that first kill, and then spawn you all the way across the map. Because then everyone else around that hard point starts to panic a bit. But 20 uncontested seconds. No one watching the overextension to the low side of kitchen. So Slasher strikes first. TJ and Gwyn through the front doors are able to find everyone after that. 4 dead. Spawns all the way across the map. Another break for Carolina.
Yeah, one thing we did see in LAG's matchup versus Minnesota to open up their CDL year was that they were prone to just being too bunkered up, giving away too much space where they can't even confirm information. And look at the result. It's just an immediate break and a convincing one at that. And you look to the minimap again, and yep, our ops team is right all over it. Slasher trying to get the early damage done, but he will be shut down. LAG have to win this P3 to P4 rotation or this game is over.
Just every time you think LAG are fully set up at a hard point, that first attempt that comes in for Carolina, they make it count. And then you're spawning all the way across the map with not that much time left to try to even contest it. You already have to chalk it up and start thinking about that rotation, but even that isn't easy because you got players like Slasher who are already hitting it nice and early. Still almost an 100-point lead. 40 seconds to fight for here at Bar, and if you are the Gorillas, you need all this.
DJ making a route around the back. Carolina knowing they have the spawns locked. DJ off the pinch will only find one, but now it's just down to the 1v1 from the front. Priestess stays safe. A little bit of support from the trophy system keeping him alive, and that's enough for LAG to win out the majority of this P3 time. But look at the setup for Carolina. 3 members waiting for the new hard point to open, and TJ will open with the first blood on top of that.
You got one spare who spawns out, so he's going to be blessed with a free pinch. Can Slasher try to find the third onto Kismet? No, the movement too good from Kismet to keep himself alive in that play. But slowly but surely, already applying a lot of pressure over towards Stone Snaps. Can Kismet find another? He is going to be on 5 in a row, but once he falls, the back spawns are supposed to be secure, but he gets blessed. Now it's your turn to take this time.
Okay, moment here for LAG, but again, they have to win this hard point out, right? TJ catches one inside the wardrobe, shots to Kismet. That's enough for Gwyn to follow up. Confirm the assist to TJ. Waiting for the regen, and then the hit will be all 4 members from the front. Little 2-2 split. Sky sitting behind the tub. Nothing he can do from there. Carolina just flushed forward, and they're finding every single kill. Lance trying to block in the back, but he gets shut down, and Carolina in a position of control to possibly put this game out of reach.
And it's just the patience, man. Everyone clutching up in their 101 gunfight, setting up crossfires. And eventually using that aggression to spawn them all the way across the map. Liddy, go. Welcome back, brother. You are shooting completely different. Ever since that little bit of a break, man, but only 5 seconds remaining here at P4. Carolina only need 35 seconds to call series. So with this much time still in the lead, this is where someone of those SMGs can hit that underground round if they want to.
And Slasher up top, not even being contested at top bedroom. Shuts down Linz inside the hard point. Priesta trying to survive over towards the gym, and nope, not gonna happen. Linz following up, but you can feel it. It's just getting really one by one they come, one by one they fall. LAG absolutely obliterated as Carolina continue to tally more time on P1, and Gwyn gets to work locking down the high ground.
And this is the third time where the Gorillas do not want to be fighting from Platt's side. They want to be the team holding down from Piano, because look at how difficult it is to get past the ARs on the side of the Ravens. Finally, an SMG is able to get on through, but for how much time? Linz is able to find a double. Still the spawns in the back pocket for Carolina, and Gwyn is just dancing with death. Catches another double in the back pocket.
Just a hot swap between the AR and the SMG. Getting it done. Priesta tracked down backside P.
Oh my!
6 in a row. He's got possibly 7 and 8 in front of him. Oh, and he wants it. Little heat check out of Gwyn. Shuts down everything. TJ on the follow-up. It's perfection. Carolina, a masterclass here on Skyline. One more chance for LAG to try to break. Niven's been tagged, but he's still shooting back as LAG will be absolutely thrown out of Skyline. A 3-1 affair as Carolina find a win.
Whew. Them boys just played some great fundamental hard point in both of the maps. We're talking about out-rotating the Gorillas basically on every single hard point, but on that Skyline, not allowing the Gorillas to at least get 1 or 2 players to set up a pinch around Piano. They had them trapped. That P1 to P2 chain, I did not think it was going to be that difficult to try to break on in, but that was their saving grace there. They did not allow anyone to sneak on through bar, no one to go through top hallway, and if you slide out of battle bedroom, you got slashing with that AR. Watch it from Piano, just gunning you down. Carolina,